Well, this is something, don't you reckon? It's got a bit about it. Last year, Triumph released its new Speed Triple 1200 RS. You know, new engine, new frame, new everything. Well, this is the even higher spec RR, which adds, Sammy, where are you going? Electronic suspension, this beautiful front fairing, among other things. It is a highly tuned, highly sophisticated racetrack machine, much like myself, I'm sure you'll agree. So stick around. I'm going to give it a wash and then I'll take it into the studio and we'll do a deep dive on what is the gut-punchingly fast and drop-dead gorgeous Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RR. As is quickly becoming tradition around here, I figure we'll again start from the front and work our way back. It seems to be the best way to go about these things. So distinguishing the RR from the RS, quite a few things actually, more than I first thought. Most notably is this lovely bikini fairing, which is sort of half modern and half retro. Retro in that it's got a round LED headlight as opposed to the angry-eyed setup of the RS. This is really, really good looking. I particularly like these low profile mirrors. It's sort of almost aircraft inspired. You'll also notice carbon fiber everywhere, on the front guard, within the cockpit, shall we call it, all over the place. It really adds just a premium feel, as if the RS wasn't premium enough. But yeah, this thing is just gorgeous to look at. Doesn't matter who you are. We've got Diablo Super Corsa SPV3 tyres, which is a step up from the setup of the RS. You know, both the RS and RR, they're hyper nakeds. People are going to argue, I guess we can't call it a naked anymore, but it's a naked bike platform and they're hyper nakeds. They're really almost race bikes for the street, or at least, you know, track bikes for the street. The profile on this tyre is just outrageous. We've got the same Brembo Stylema brakes, 320mm floating discs and 220 at the rear, I want to say. The big deal with the RR is we now get Öhlins semi-active suspension, electronic suspension. I thought the setup of the RS could not get any better. Well, I was wrong. It can, and they've done it somehow. This thing is suspended beautifully, absolutely gorgeous. This houses a 5-inch TFT screen. I'm going to come back to that because you can really tune this bike in so many ways, and I want to run you through some of the things you can do because it's quite incredible. Okay, moving backwards a little bit, MCS levers carry over, another really premium looking addition. The switchgear sees cruise control, mode adjustment, and as we've got full keyless ignition, meaning we can just open things without the need to pull out a key, which also includes a keyless steering lock, which I really like. You'll probably be able to hear it. Yeah, as you can see, it's got a key fob. Put it in your pocket and you just do everything. I used to be against keyless ignitions, but Triumph's worked it out. It's uninvasive. It just, you put the key in your pocket and everything works. When keyless ignitions work, they're fantastic, but they have to work 100% of the time, in my opinion, or throw the whole idea out. Let's sit on the thing, eh? Super, super aggressive. This is not a comfortable motorcycle in any way. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I rode about 100 Ks to get here on the freeway. I had the cruise control on and was sitting up like this most of the time to try and get a bit of respite. But of course, it's uncomfortable. It's a highly tuned track machine. That is what it is. The ergos are even more aggressive here than we found on the RS. So the clip-on handlebars we get now are 50mm further forward and 135mm downward, down towards the ground. And the foot peg positioning is more aggressive too. So yeah, super, super aggressive. Let's start her up, eh? As you heard there, of course, up-down quick shifter is standard, as will not come as a surprise, I'm sure. In the middle, an 1160cc triple cylinder engine, no changes from the RS, thank God. 132 kilowatts and 125 Newton meters. That power comes on thick and fast, and oh my God, at about 5,000 revs, it's too much bike for me. It doesn't mean I can't have a lot of fun riding it, but it belongs on a racetrack. It is mentally fast. It is such a step up from the Speed Triple's predecessor. It's fantastic. It makes all the right noises. It does all the right things, and it just goes like, you know what. Solo seat, which I imagine you can replace with like a pillion thing if you hate your partner. Single-sided swing arm to show off those nice lightweight wheels, and a fairly standard looking can, which I'm sure most people will replace with some really loud aftermarket thing, because why the hell not? So the Speed Triple RR is priced from $32,490 in this colour scheme, an extra $400 if you want some of the fancier looking colour schemes. Now that's about $4,000, well it is $4,000 more than the RS naked bike it's built off. So I totally see where that money is when you consider that this thing has fully electronic Öhlins suspension front and rear, and just like the premiumness of it, all the carbon fibre, this cow, you know, it's an exclusive motorcycle. That price tag doesn't shock me. I see where the money has gone here. So all this has resulted in a weight gain of just 1 kilogram to 199 kilograms wet. So this thing is really light considering how much performance that engine offers. So that's most of it. So I think let's swap to a different camera angle, because I really want to show you this dash and the parameters you can adjust within it. All right, so let's fire this thing up and have a look at the dash unit. There's so much you can do on this bike. And I think it's worth showing you a few things. I won't show you everything because I'll bore you to death, but there's a couple of key features you definitely might want to know about. So on the right-hand switch block, you have a home button, which brings you to your main settings. I'll click that again. On the left switch block, you've got a mode button, which gives you quick access to rider modes, rain, road, sport, and rider, which is your individual setting you can tailor yourself. There's also on the left-hand switch gear, sort of like a joystick, which is how you navigate some of the finer details. So here we have the display settings, not too much, it's all mostly self-explanatory here, but I did notice you can change the theme, so the colours and sort of the graphic design of the screen. I think that's nice. You can also change when your shift indicator comes on, stuff like that. More interestingly, you have riding aid adjustment, and of course, seeing as we have electronic suspension, we can really go in and fine-tune the performance of this suspension. The suspension will change depending on what rider mode you're in, of course, but if you're really keen on tuning the bike to your own style, you can change things like front firmness, you know, by different degrees, rear firmness, and your brake support, of course. So really a lot of control of how this bike will handle. The lap timer, that's pretty cool. So this bike has its own dedicated lap timer. You've got more in-depth fuel information, you know, range to empty and stuff like that. That's pretty standard fare on modern motorcycles these days. Now you can also connect your phone and get full satellite navigation, control music, you know, call people, send texts, control your intercom, your GoPro, all that stuff. So full smartphone mirroring here. If you were to go into riding aids, you can change the parameters for the traction control and engine mapping on each mode. You can also go into settings and turn traction control on and off with the press of one button, as well as control the quick shifter. You can turn that off. So that's a bit of a rundown of the dash system. It takes a little bit of time to get your head around it, I'll be honest. But if you owned this thing, it wouldn't take long before you knew how to do everything. There is so much on offer here, and I think that's really sick. I also really like the design of the dash. You know, it's just really obvious what it is. A round style tacho I'm a big fan of. Your speed right in the middle, fuel, the stuff you need, and a clock, of course. So, yep, really pleased with how all that works. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I apologise that I haven't been able to get any riding shots with it. The weather has just been biblical. I can't get a dry road for love nor money at the moment, but expect us to resume regular programming very shortly. Take it easy, guys. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense. Rock and roll.